Andrew Tucker, and welcome to Andrew Tucker World. What's going on, all my great people? What's going on, all my boxing fans? I have some very exciting and breaking news. Tyson Fury's wife makes retirement plea ahead of huge announcement. We know what the huge announcement is going to be. We know that it's going to be Tyson Fury possibly facing Alexander Usyk early next year. I don't think that it's not. I don't think they're not going to be able to fight in December next month. They're not going to be able to fight next month. So I'm thinking maybe January, or I'm thinking maybe February or March, something like that. More of that being a date for the big fight for the undisputed bout. Um, the big fight in the heavyweight division, one of the biggest fights in the history of the sport. I understand reading this article. Shout out to gbnnews.com. I kind of understand, how Tyson Fury's wife, how she feels, her concern, things of that nature when it's pertaining and concerning her husband Tyson Fury. How he feels, the after effects after a fight, where he's at mentally, how is he, how he is emotionally, where he's at mentally, psychologically, you know what I mean, and how alert he is physically, things of that nature. So these are things that she experienced, like she's there with him, you know. They live in the same household. It's his wife. She knows him better than anyone, better than anyone. It's his wife, other than of course, his father, his brothers, his family. But she's his wife. She lives with him in the same household. She knows what he battles with, what he deals with on a pretty much on a daily basis, and what it's like to really know and experience what he, how he carries on in his life after big fights or after or a tough fight or a battle or when life outside of the ring, as far as his personal life and his, when he has to go home to his wife and his kids, how it is. How is it? She knows, like, she's there. You know what I mean? So Tyson Fury's wife makes retirement plea ahead of huge announcement. The Gypsy King has been at the center of attention ever since his recent victory over Francis Ngannou. Tyson Fury's wife has admitted she loved him. She would love for him to retire after his upcoming fight with Alexander Usyk. An announcement is expected. Announcement is expected to confirm the two men will go to war in February, with their fight previously scheduled for December. So, according to this article, and I think I've seen two other articles coming from websites, boxing websites, that that I believe they were all saying this February date. So like I feel that gives Fury more time. I feel that gives Fury more time to prepare. Excuse me, for Alexander Usyk based off his last performance. I knew something was off. Not to make any excuses. I don't really care what anyone may feel or think. I know that these fighters go through a lot. So if they're not trying to be understanding or considerate towards the fighters that step in the ring to entertain us, they just care about the fights. I understand that. I can respect that. but not the well-being of a fighter where he's at. How he prepared for a fight, he can give it his all, but could be something still off. It's not always a fighter's declining, or he lost his legs, or his reflexes isn't the same, or he just wasn't prepared for a certain style. Sometimes that can also be the case. But it can be for it can be the experience Fury now has as a fighter, and a lot of fights he have been in as a professional fighter, a lot of fights as an amateur fighter. I mean, a good amount of fights as an amateur fighter. When you have been in so many fights, whether you dominated the fight or whether it was a tough fight, it was very very competitive, highly competitive, and it was a dangerous fight. It was a tough fight. When you have been in wars like Fury have recently been in, like when he went up against Deontay Wilder in that in the trilogy fight, right? In the first fight, I can say the first fight and the third fight. When you have been in wars, like that, and other, you could say Fury has been in a few other tough fights. In some fights, he made it look easy, of course. But it also been in some tough fights, as well. And it's been a long road. Now at 35 years old, he's been a professional fighter for a long time. As far as in general, he's been a fighter for a long time. He's been boxing for a long time he's been fighting, knowing how to fight since he was a kid. But as far as boxing, amateur and professional, it's been a long road for Fury. Sometimes sometimes father time catches up. It can come sooner than later for some fighters. And sometimes it starts to take an effect, not just physically, but also mentally and psychologically. I seen something off. Every fighter, of course, it's just how it is. When you get to a certain age, you're going to decline. You're not going to be as sharp as you once were, like in your 30s, like how you was in your late 20s, or mid 20s or early 20s. Fury's 35 years old, a veteran in the game. And so, yes, he would most definitely have to prepare and need more time to prepare for a style like Alexander Usyk. Some fighters can have off nights. Some fighters can be, go in there and witness a style that can give them trouble, give them problems, and be very difficult for them. You know what I mean? So it's all about stepping in the ring. You have to respect these fighters. You have to respect these fighters for stepping in the ring and give and just pretty much, like, I know it's like this is a prize. It's prize fighting, so of course they get paid. It's their job. It's their job description. It's their job, so they get paid for it. And they also, a lot of these fighters do want legacy, want to be great, want to prove themselves. They do have people that work that work for them in a way, but that pretty much controls their career. Like fighters have, you can say fighters have say so all day and all that there, but and fighters get to a significant amount of money where they make investments themselves, right? They be able to call certain shots and be able to be the A side, or be able to convert over to the business side of boxing and become more of a manager, promoter, advisor. But at the end of the day, fighters still have very powerful men that's above them, that's paying them majority of the time. Excuse me. So you have investors. You have a manager that works with the investors, that works with the networks, that works with the co-promoter, the promoter, advisor. I don't get deep into all that type of stuff, but at the end of the day, sometimes they can kind of steer fighters in certain directions where it's going to be a smart business move. We do this first. We take this fight. It's a bigger fight, more revenue. You generate some more. We take that fight, take this fight, like that fight build up. And it takes away from us boxing fans in a way, when it comes to the politics and the business side of boxing. But at the end of the day, you got to respect these fighters for stepping in the ring and putting their life on the line to entertain us. Of course, this is something that they got into, they wanted to do, and they wanted to prove themselves. You know, and you have to have a lot of heart and determination, willpower, and be very driven to do this, to participate in in boxing, becoming a professional boxing, getting up, going up the rankings and things of that nature, even getting, you know, trying to get to a certain position even before you become a professional in the amateur rankings as well. All those tournaments and stuff. But I can respect Fury. Decision. I respect his wife's decision. Of course, it comes down to the fighter. It's all on the fighter what he decides to do. Of course, him and his wife is a team. They're a unit, and they have that special bond and connection. They're a team. They are family, and so they have these conversations among themselves, and these conversations with each other to determine what is a good idea. But at the end of the day, she just care. If the fans don't care, not all the boxing fans, but some people don't care. It don't matter if we don't care or whoever don't care. As boxing fans and people on the outside looking in, as long as his wife is there for him and care, some of us do care. And care for the safety and the protection of the fighters and their well being. So his wife cares about his well being. So at the end of the day, her concern and how how it's affecting her husband, and she cares about his well being, his health, overall health when he retires from the sport of boxing. We already seen so many results of so many fighters that were affected by what they did in the ring. After majority of the time leaving it all behind, how the toll it took on certain fighters, certain things happened. It's hard to talk about it, but it's hard to really talk about it. But at the end of the day, she wanted her husband to retire. Basically, in a way, she wants him to leave the sport. So, he can most definitely, because, I feel that once you have proven yourself undisputed, I think Fury beats Alexander Usyk if he beats him and become undisputed. That's the icing on the cake. He solidified his legacy. He move on. Yes, there's other fights we would love to see. Him against Anthony Joshua, him against certain fighters, but I'm okay. Once Fury gets past Alexander Usyk, if he beats him, win or lose, if he decides he wants to retire after discussing with his wife and his family, then I'm okay with it. Because I can honestly say that, he had proven himself in the ring. And he will go into the Hall of Fame. Whether people like Fury, dislike Fury, hate him or love him, you can hate it or love it. He's going into the Hall of Fame. So even beating Alexander Usyk is only going to make it that much greater and much better for him being remembered as one of the best fighters and one of the best heavyweights in the history of the sport, and one of the greatest fighters to ever step in the ring. So my thing is, I understand. Fury wants more time to recover. However, having been left bruised following his recent victory over Francis Ngannou in Saudi Arabia, talk of the 35-year-old retiring the talk of the 35-year-old retiring just yet has been dismissed by his manager. But wife Paris, speaking to IFL TV, shout out to IFL TV, has admitted she'd love for her husband to quit boxing once his fight with Alexander Usyk is out of the way, and that's very understanding. It's very understanding when it comes to Miss Paris, Fury, his wife is very understanding, and I understand completely. It also goes on saying, I'm hoping after Usyk, it goes on to read, his upcoming fight against Alexander Usyk, that will be the end of it, she said, when it was explained to Paris that Fury would likely face Usyk on two more occasions. Wow, seemed far from happy. Seemed far from happy. I know as far as Paris, she's not. I don't think she's okay with that. She said the news was news to her, and said she hoped to have him home. According according to OK Magazine, Paris fears for Fury each time he steps into the ring. That's very understanding. She said she is said to hate the feelings, with the source adding it's been very stressful for her, and yet Tyson won't stop. He feels that fighting keeps him in a positive mental state. And I agree with that. I like Fury loves fighting. Fury loves fighting. He loves proving himself when people doubt him. Yeah, Fury is a gypsy. You know what I'm saying? Gypsy King. That's him. That defines Tyson Fury. He feels that fighting keeps him in a positive mental state. Paris is worried because she knows the physical effect a fight can have on him, and I understand that as well. Fury was unconvincing during his recent victory over Ngannou, only winning a split decision, but there's no sign of the Gypsy King walking away from boxing yet, especially with his fight with Usyk due to be announced. When it comes to the combat sports, Fury all in. I just know Fury. He's all in when it comes to, fighting at Francis Ngannou. I know he wants, I believe Fury really want to prove himself against other top fighters. I think he really wants to get past Alexander Usyk, win that fight, and we might see a big fight because Fury, it's going to be a lot of money involved. I don't know who Joshua would fight in the process of, waiting, but I still want that Joshua and Fury, man. Before them guys leave the ring for good, I got to see Joshua and Fury, man. We got to see that. It got to happen, and yes, I do want, Joshua to fight Wilder and guys like that. But I want Joshua and Fury, man. And I also want, I love this Usyk and Fury. This is one I also been waiting for. We have been waiting for it for a minute. So hopefully, we get this in February, and the announcement is soon to be announced. I really believe very soon it will be announced, because February is right around the corner. But it is enough time for both fighters to prepare for this fight, and be at their best as far as in shape, mentally and physically prepared to get in there and give us an exciting fight. And but you guys let me know how you feel about this video, how you feel about this news. But also states a little more farther also states a little bit more further that the Ukrainian's promoter, he's talking about Alexander Usyk, Alex Kress. I'm gonna just say Kress. I can't even pronounce his last name. It's one of those catchy last names. You know what I'm saying? And I would just say Alex. His promoter, Alex K, has revealed confirmation of their rescheduled fight is imminent. Okay. Speaking to Boxing News, he said it's absolutely ready to go, and he knows how to deal with Tyson. That's why I feel confident that. That's why I feel confident. Says Alexander Usyk's promoter. That's why I feel relaxed about this fight. The only thing that I'm really concerned about is to make the fight happen. In the contract, it was December the 23rd, but it's a matter of common sense and common reason. I understand that. If a fighter isn't ready to go, you cannot make them. So we still have some things we battling with. We just, like I said earlier, it comes down to Tyson Fury. And I just know the Gypsy King is not gonna go out without one last hoorah. I think if it's in February, he's gonna have time to prepare. He's gonna dig down deep, and we're gonna get that fight. We rather stay flexible, stay relaxed. So you guys can read this article. I'm not gonna be here too long. But I just want to say this. Tyson Fury, I believe Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk is going to happen. It's going to happen. If it's in February, that's great. But I believe we're going to get the news. It's going to be announced. It's going to happen. And I believe it's going to be a great fight. And I'm excited for the fight. And I respect Fury's wife, him and his wife's decision. After the fight, where he goes. Do he continue to go on to fight, or will he put it into his career? You guys, let me know in the comment section how you feel about this news, how you feel about this video, how you feel about Tyson Fury's situation, how you feel about what his wife is saying, and how she feels about his well-being, his health, and his career. And let me know who you think is going to win between Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury. Let me know all of that in the comment section below. Love you guys. Much love and respect, and I'm out.